This is Community Proud Podcast, episode 17. 17 weeks, 4 months.
Yep.
Sorry about last week, by the way. We weren't able to record an intro. My bad. But we're here now. We're back with a new episode. Abraham, how do you feel about this 4th month, man?
It's been fun.
We're
getting work done. It's a process, and we just keep going through it.
Keep cranking them out, man.
Yep.
Well, this episode is with Marina, with the Fox Theater. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was really cool. She knows what she's doing.
For sure.
Definitely knows what she's doing. Definitely is in charge and on top of things.
Yeah, for sure. She just gets down to business. And she's got a great background with her parents. She's got a cool story with them, how, just how she grew up. And she's got a cool story of growing up and going to the Fox Theater as well. And it's really just like a full circle thing for her working here at the Fox Theater. So, if you want to catch up with her more, her Instagram is The Only Latina Ninja, all put together. And her full name is Marina Rojas. Also, shout out to Visalia Fox for letting us record there as well. It's a real treat walking in there. It's a very beautiful building. It's been there for a long, long time. And of course, follow us as well at Community Proud Podcast on Instagram. And if you've noticed, we've posted a story not too long ago, and we're going to have a giveaway soon with Brush of Wonders, or also known as Lauren Farrar from our 3rd episode. So, pretty
Way
exciting
back.
stuff.
Original guest.
Yeah, that is like one of our first guests. That was, what is that, episode 3?
I believe so.
Episode 3, man, that's crazy. That seems so long ago now.
14 episodes.
That's crazy. Anyways, do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm really excited about the giveaway.
Oh, man.
Super excited.
So excited. Please enter it. Yeah. So we just want as many people to enter it as we can. Just to spread the word for Brush of Wonders too. Just huge shout out to her for
She's
being
amazing.
one of our first guests. Amazing girl. And without further ado, here's episode number 17 with Marina.
Enjoy.
Well, welcome. This is episode 17. Wow.
That's a lot.
That
Y'all
is.
are growing. Yes.
That's a lot.
That's almost 20.
That is.
And then it's going to be 100. And then
Yeah.
200.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so crazy to me. It seems like we only started this yesterday or something.
Yeah.
Or last week. But
That's so cool.
yeah.
Love
How's your day going?
But he's doing good.
That's
It's going. It's
awesome.
been busy. We've had a busy season here at the Fox.
Seems like you're always
Yeah.
busy.
I know, because I've rescheduled like 5 times. So that's my subtle way of saying this girl is hectic. No, it's been great. So I've enjoyed it. I just started. I'm the. Do I say who I am, or you handle that in your intros, right? With okay.
I mean, you can say who you
I
are
don't know.
anyways.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I only had 10 cups of caffeine today, guys. No, my name is Marina Rojas. I'm the Marketing and Development Director here at the historic Visalia Fox Theater. It's been quite a fun journey. I've been here since the end of June, and so not too long, 4 or 5 months. So it's been fun, and we've had a lot of events here, so it's been keeping me busy, and it's pretty fun. I like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what made you want to pursue this?
My career journey is pretty interesting. I started out, my first job was working at College of Sequoias. I was a student administrative assistant, and I did that for my duration of school year for the most part. And then I went on and worked at Evolutions in Tulare, the gym and rehab place for 5 years, and I was like, oh, I could work here forever. Like, my boss was super dope, everyone was fun, and I had a good time, and I kind of hit the highest position I could. I was a manager on duty, and I started out at front desk, did sales, and then worked up to management, and I was like, well, I'll retire from here. I don't care, like, as long as I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I finished school. I ended up getting my associates at COS in business management, and certificate in marketing. And I still thought, I'm like, oh, I'm going to stay at the gym, it's fine. But then the opportunity came for me to go work for a fuel construction site, fuel construction company in Tulare, and they were great too. I did that for 8 months, and I was, oh my gosh, what was I? I was a compliance coordinator, and so I set up like all the testing, like the county and state testing for gas stations and fuel sites, and yeah, it was riveting. I know, right? Like, it was the coolest job ever. But my bosses were super dope, and I had fun there. And same thing, I was kind of like, maybe I want to do this, and I was kind of like, no, this isn't feeling me. And I thought, well, maybe I'll go into teaching, and I'll go back and get my bachelor's, and I'll go into teaching. And that idea lasted for a week. And then I had a friend refer me to a place called the Tulare County Association of Realtors, and I was their marketing coordinator there, and I started dabbling in political liaison work too. So I got to see the whole side of the real estate industry, and it's a really cool industry, and there's so many different facets of it that make it work. You know, you think you just buy a house, and it's like, no, there's like so many other people that get involved in it. It's just not you and a real estate agent. So it was pretty cool, and I did that for almost 6 years. And same thing, I started kind of feeling like, I think I'm ready for something different, and I don't know what it is. And, you know, I'm a person of faith, so I was just kind of like, God, what do I do? And I would save up all my vacation time for December, because my year would be packed with events and different things that would go on. So I would take like almost a month off. I miss those days so much. I don't get that anymore. I was during my time off, and I did my last big event of the year, and everything went great, and I turned on the radio, and I had wanted to go into radio a long time ago, and it was like on my bucket list to be like an on-air personality. And I thought, oh, that's never going to happen. Right? That was pre-podcasting days. Not that it was that long ago. I'm not old. Okay. I am only 33. I'm still young. And so he's like, okay, lady. So I turned on the radio, and Spirit 88.9 and 100.1 is a station that I've listened to since I was a kid. And they were saying, hey, we're looking for, you know, a promotions director that does marketing for the station, events and stuff. And I'm like, I applied for it. I ended up getting the job. It was the most adventurous year and a half that I've had. It was so much fun, and I loved it. And radio is an interesting machine in itself. And I had such a good time. I got to be a part of some really cool stuff, and that weren't just about like entertainment, but were about our community and taking care of people and helping and doing stuff. And same thing kind of started happening. It was like the job at the Fox, a friend forwarded it to me and was like, hey, like, I know you're super happy at Spirit, but do you want to try out for this job at the Fox? And I'm like, same thing. I've loved the Fox since I was a kid. I remember when, before it's in its current state, it was a multiplex. It was 3 screens in this whole building. So there was 1 down here and 2 upstairs. They split the room in half. And I remember coming here when we moved from LA and seeing, I think, 101 Dalmatians here or something. Like, they did a throwback movie night or something like that. And I just had always loved the building, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to work here one day? And then full circle, I ended up getting the job, and I'm here, and it's just wild how my whole career journey has just kind of taken me in different directions, but I'm really happy the way it's gone now. So venue management wasn't something I always thought of, and you kind of don't think like, oh, somebody does that, you know, but it's been fun. I'm happy with where I'm at.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the cool, going back a little bit, back in time a little bit at Spirit Radio, what are some of the cool things you did over there?
Well, I was a morning show host for 3 months.
That's cool.
So the existing show was the Rob and John show. And when I came on, they had another co-host, but she was previously the promotions director, and then she went full-time into on-air. And so that was why the position opened up for me. So I come on, and it was our friend, now we're all great friends. My friend Julie was on the show. Julie ends up getting a job over at a different place. And so they were kind of like, oh, who do we bring on? And they're like, oh, you want to guest host a few times? Like, sure. So, you know, morning radio shows are in the morning. They are in the morning, like early. Like you have to be there. We would get, okay, I correct that. I would get to the studio right before showtime at 6 a.m. The boys were way better than me. There was one time I made it. They went on air without me. Oh. And I'm driving, I'm getting off the freeway off the 198 because they're off by Plaza. And I get off at the 198 and I hear the intro music and I'm like, seriously? You guys can't wait for me? Like it was on air, the whole thing. I ran through the front door and I'm like, I'm coming. And they could hear me running down the hallway and coming on air to do the show. I did that twice, only twice out of my 3 months. And I think that's good considering I'm not a morning person. Doing the morning show was fun, but I stepped away from that because I wanted to focus on the promotion aspect of it, why I was originally hired. And I wanted to, and it kind of ties into my current thought process here at the Fox is, you know, I don't think there's an excuse anymore for, especially our community, for Visalia to not be an entertainment destination city. Fresno and Bakersfield are big, you know, metro cities compared to us. You know, it's not just LA and San Francisco. Bakersfield and Fresno are pretty big on their own and hold their own. But Visalia just has been growing so much and has been expanding and has been open to so much. It's like, okay, it's time for us to be that. We can have artists come here that people will travel from Fresno and Bakersfield. But not just that, there's people in our area that have never been to a show because it's so far away. Yeah. I met people when we started we brought in Phil Wickham last year. That was amazing. And For King and Country, who just recently were on the CMA Awards. They performed with Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton has joined one of their songs called God Only Knows. They just got nominated for 2 Grammys. So they're killing it right now. I call them the Christian Coldplay. Like the direction they're going, their trajectory is insane. Like they're having that crossover ability that you hear Lauren Daigle. Like Lauren Daigle starts in Christian music. Now her music's played in secular mainstream stations too. These guys are in that same direction right now. And that I will say not for right now, because I've done some other cool stuff in between, but For King and Country has been getting that show here to Visalia, and it's selling out in 3 weeks. And we had it at Visalia First's new building, which hosts like 2,500, a little over 2,500 people. Selling that out in 3 weeks sent such a strong ripple effect throughout the entertainment industry, especially the Christian side, but even the secular side. They're like, whoa, like your people will buy tickets? Like, we want to be entertained too. We want to hear a cool band and see a good show. So that was that turned into a big thing for me over at Spirit, was that like, okay, we are capable of hosting these shows. We're capable of bringing this to our audiences. Let's do it. And so bringing in those 2 concerts last year for King Country definitely is like, I'm very proud of it. And I'm very blessed that got to happen. In the past, I would say that's like my biggest one that I've done so far. And that was a team effort too. Like I just had a great team at Spirit and they were fun, and it was an adventure, and we fought for that show. Yeah. Because they were just kind of like, well, you know, it's Visalia. Like, why we could make more money if we go to Fresno. And we're like, okay, that's cool, and we get making money. We get it, because we're a nonprofit radio station. We get wanting to make money. Yeah. But it's like, no, like there's a greater impact you're gonna make bringing it here. And I think that helped kind of perpetuate getting not just Visalia, but Tulare County kind of like amped up, like, oh, we can have cool shows here. Yeah. We can have a good, high quality concert and enjoy ourselves at being affordable, having a good time, making memories. And it was a cool moment, and I'm just super proud of our community for supporting it the way they did. Yeah.
It seems like you accomplished a lot in just like a little bit of time.
It's been wild, man. Like I really chalk it up to God, because I could have never have had those opportunities on my own. And I've been very blessed that I get to work with really cool people that that trust me. And that let me make mistakes, because that's the key in all of this. Like everyone who gets these cool stories, like it took a million mistakes to get this one right, you know. And it's easy to, I can see how people can get so disillusioned and think like, oh, I did all of this on my own. And it's like, not really. Like nobody does anything on their own. Right. Like it took, you know, not everybody, but a majority of huge projects like that is a team. And I've been blessed with amazing team members and people who've been supportive and who've been connecting with fellow dreamers and people who aren't just dreamers but are completers. And that's kind of where the difference is. Like, it's so cool to dream and visualize and have these goals and mindsets, but you have to complete them. And if you're not completing them, that's okay too. Like, you just have to adjust your vision sometimes and be open to criticism, be open to no. That's been something that I've always grown with, is that I've learned that it's okay to get no's. You know, you kind of get amped up as you grow up, and you're like, you know, you get the yes, and, you know, especially in business, whether it's in entertainment or it's in anything else, it's like you get a yes, and if you don't get a yes, you suck. If you don't get a yes, if you don't get a commitment, you did an awful job, you're bad. And it's like, no, like, I've learned that if I get a no, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I understand that, but tell me why you're telling me no. Can you explain it to me? Because then that gives me room to come back and counter and say, okay, well, what if I adjust this and I throw this in or I take this out? Then it could easily turn into a yes. And I think that's what people are afraid of sometimes, and it gets in their way. They're scared of the no. And it's like, I say embrace the no and say, okay, that's cool. That either means, one, I wasn't meant to do it to begin with, or two, I'm not fighting hard enough for it. So
they're not confident enough to like get through that smoke screen of the first initial no too. Like, they don't, like, a lot of time when you're doing sales, someone says no. A lot of I guess you could say, like, immature salesmen, they haven't done it for too long. They're like, okay, no, next. But if you've been in sales for a while, then you know, like, okay, that the first initial no, maybe it's just a smoke screen. Then you start asking questions like, why is it a no? Like, exactly what you just said.
And you could have missed out on probably the greatest sale of your year if you didn't fight enough for it. And now I do that. Now I'm in a position where I can say no. And I wait, and I do use it as a smoke screen. So that's funny you say it like that, because I do kind of use it as, oh, let's see. Let's see how into it they are, how much they want to do this project or bring this event. And sometimes I'm just like, no, it's okay. And then if they counter it, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you want this. Like, this isn't just like a check mark for you. This is something you're passionate about, and it's cool. Sometimes, you know, even when you say no, you miss out. So I've had in a moment or two like that where I'm just like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have played hardball. So I shouldn't have been too gangster. Sometimes that happens with me. I'm too gangster sometimes. Like, it doesn't always work. So, and the saying of, you get more flies with honey than you do with oil with vinegar, it's so true. And that's like, my personality is kind of like, oh, you know, okay, fine, bye, girl, bye. Like, I'm done with you. Like, I don't want to deal with this. And I'm always grateful that I work with people that are like, girl, chill. Like, I'm like, all right, fine, cool. You need to surround yourself. You can't work with people who are just like you, because it never works out. It's all about just, you're more concerned about petting your ego than you are about completing a project or pushing your company forward or a project or something. Like, you need people who are different from you. And that's always been something I've been okay with, because I've always been kind of different. Like, especially around here in the Central Valley, narrowing it down more specifically to Larry County, and then bringing it down even more, like our small town communities. There's definitely been like the country club like mindset, where it's like, you know, the first thing out of people's mouths is, oh, it's your last name. Where'd you go to school? You know, and it's like, I grew up when that was thriving and that worked for a lot of people and a lot of things. And you know, my parents have always worked hard, and my dad's a truck driver, my mom was a CNA, and you know, they've blue collar family, you know, they've always taken care of us. They put us first, and, you know, my brother and I, and, you know, just, they're awesome. Like, I love my family so much, and I'm really close with them. So when I got older and I wanted to get involved in stuff, I didn't get involved in a lot of things because I sensed that, like, oh, you're not this descent, or you're not this last name, or you don't have this much money, or your parents don't drive this car. And I'm kind of like, okay, so cool. So I kind of just didn't get involved in any outside activities outside of church stuff, because at church, and it didn't matter. Like, it was just like, you want to help out? Cool, come help out. Like, everyone's you're involved, right? And so everyone's welcome. And when I got older and I started dabbling in different like nonprofits and stuff, I fought that a lot, and I learned just kind of like, okay, well, I don't have money, but I can work. Like, I can put sweat equity into something, or I can help you make phone calls or deliver flyers or make flyers or do something. So in one area, it was like I had to constantly prove myself. But you know, as time has passed and I've seen all our different communities grow and build, and I will say Visalia specifically has been awesome about this, is that has gotten shaken off. And that's changed a lot over the years, to where now it isn't, the first thing out of people's mouths isn't like, oh, what's your last name, or oh, that's your car.
Yeah.
You know, there's still some people like that, and they're just sad and nobody's friends with them.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody has time for that anymore. Like, it's about being real, and it's about being transparent and being true about your intentions of wanting to do business with people or wanting to connect or network. That whole, like, you're not included anymore because you're not this type of class. I use air quotes with that for those that are listening and not watching. It's cool to see the direction our communities have been going lately, because it has kind of shaken that off. And it's been more about like, okay, well, I'm not the richest person in the room, but I can work pretty darn hard.
Yeah.
I'll set up tables, chairs, help you get sponsors or something like that. So it's been interesting. I would say the last 10 years have been like that around here, where I've seen a shift and I've seen more inclusion than exclusion. And that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting stuff.
I've noticed, just I walk downtown. I work here in Visalia. I walk downtown probably almost every day that I work. I just love downtown. It's a great area.
Yeah.
You meet someone new every day.
Yeah.
I notice on almost every single business's windows, they're like promoting everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. That's so dope, because that's exactly what we're trying to do with this podcast. We love just like everybody being together, promoting each other. We're with each other. We're not competing against each other in any way. We're with each other.
It is so much more profitable, I have found, to embrace competition rather than be fearful of it. And you know what? With us, like with the Fox, like we're an entertainment venue. We want to bring in every single concert, comedian, band that we possibly can. But there are some venues that are better suited for different styles of bands. Like Cellar Door right now they've gone through their restructuring and their remanagement. They are killing it right now.
Yeah.
They've always been a great hub of local entertainment and fostering local artists, or bringing in, you know, they brought in, I think, a band from Japan or something a while back. You know, they just do awesome work, and that's, you know, Aaron Gomes from Sound and Vision Foundation is fantastic. And I haven't even officially met him, like, you know what I mean? But I know this is a guy that's passionate about local arts and local talent and just giving people a shot and helping them. And so I love and respect that so much. And like Cellar Door is great at that.
From Lemoore the other day.
Yeah,
right?
they're bringing it, and then Leaving Austin has been a band that's been growing, and they're in Nashville, but they're coming back in, and I know they're going to do a show here. They brought in all kinds of cool people, and you know, the convention center, you know, is huge. They can host like almost 3,000 in their main exhibit hall. I can't host that. They're doing Foreigner. That was a show that, you know, could have came here, but management decided to take them to a bigger venue, and that's cool. I can't get wound up with stuff like that, because one, that's kind of hypocritical of me to be like, I'm pro community, but I'm not pro certain community people excelling. Like, we all win out of this. When we all bring different artists in, that's a good constant in the entertainment community, to be like, hey, Visalia's serious. Like, they want indie artists, they want top 40, they want hip hop, they want rock, classic rock. So I have learned to embrace that through my career span, is to not be threatened by those that people think you should be. And it's like, no, like, we're not against each other. We're all rooting for each other at the end of the day. Like, we all win out of this. And downtown Visalia is just so special. And I know like Exeter has an amazing downtown too. Tulari's has been growing as well. Lindsay's Farmers Market has always been a cool place of community. But, you know, now that my home is here in downtown Visalia, you know, you're right. Like, people put up flyers. They go to each other's events. You know, we visit other restaurants. We try to use everybody for catering, you know, when we have shows coming in. And it's a cool, magical little place that I just love. And I'm a Gilmore Girls fan. Shocking, I'm a woman. And I think like, oh my gosh, this is pretty much Stars Hollow. Like, every character is represented in downtown Visalia somehow. And it's so cool. It's
just
fun.
For the record, I don't know anything of what you just said.
About Gilmore Girls?
No.
There's this cool thing called Netflix. and I need you to
Okay.
go on there and watch Gilmore Girls.
I'm an office person.
Okay, I love The Office. Okay, but thankfully there's no Michael Scotts around here. Otherwise, everyone would be in jail. Like,
Yeah.
that show is so good. The
Yeah.
Office is timeless. The Office is one of the best shows ever made.
Shout out to The Office.
Yes, sponsor his podcast.
Yeah, sponsor me.
NBC. Oh,
They just got bought out by NBC
I know.
for $500 million.
That's bananas.
You guys can sponsor us if you want.
all those actors are still making money. I know. They all make bank on it, and it's so cool. I love that show. It's one of the best shows ever. It's not rare, but it is a little rare when I laugh cry. And when I worked at the gym was when I had a buddy, and my friend Chris was watching the show, and he would talk about it, and I was like, I've never seen an episode, and I think it was already in season 2, halfway through season 2, and he's like, here, and he gave me the first season on DVD, and I just was like in tears. My stomach hurt from laughing so hard. I'm like, how is this guy a boss? And it was hilarious because I was in the middle of taking a human resources class, and they were using The Office as an example of how you do not act in a public working place.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's so fun. Yeah, that's just killer. It's the best. But yeah, I mean, community around here is so strong, and there's just, it's great because when I worked at the radio station, because Spirit's a nonprofit and they get involved with different groups and organizations throughout, the Valley and Visalia, and when you think about the amount of nonprofits we have, and by the way, the Fox Theater is a nonprofit. We're not a commercial theater. We're not owned anymore. We were when we were first built, owned by 21st Century Fox, the film studio. Fox owned all the Fox theaters. Now they're all individually owned and operated. A lot of them are nonprofits, and we are one of the nonprofit Fox theaters. So we're in the same boat Visalia Rescue Mission is, Bethlehem Center, oh my gosh, so many others around Food Link. And it's just so cool that we have so many nonprofits in this area, and all of them seem to still have funding. There's just something for everyone's passion. Like if you care about homelessness, you care about getting people off the streets, you focus with Bethlehem Center or Visalia Rescue Mission. You want to see kids getting better nutrition, you hook up with Food Link or the Tulare Emergency Aid or Tulare County Emergency Aid, Boys and Girls Club. Theater, us, or Encore Theater in Tulare, or Theater Arts Alliance. There's just something for everyone to plug into and get connected with, and it's mind-boggling just how it all still works. How many we hear about more businesses closing than nonprofits.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of just shows the heart of this community is that they care and they want to see things thrive. And I mean, we've been around for 90 years. So the Fox was built in, little history lesson, children. No, you're not children. I'm sure you're all adults. And if you are kids, cool, stay in school. I love my little rabbit trails. Anyway, so really quick, the Foxes opened February 27th, 1930. It started construction in 1927. And like I said, it was owned by Fox Studios. So the cool thing was that the Fox was ahead of its time even in that time, because what happened was a lot of films still in the 20s were being made for silent pictures. And talkies were seen as a novelty thing. They thought it was just like Snapchat. It's not going to last much longer. They thought Warner Brothers thought it was a joke. If you've ever seen Singing in the Rain, it's one of the plot lines is that, talkies won't last at all. Well, Fox theaters were built specifically for talkie films only. They saw the potential in technology and they were like, no, this is going to be a real thing. And so all the Fox theaters were built for talkies, were built for sound. So theater opens, they do amazing, go from the 30s to the 70s. 1970s, multiplexes start turning into a big thing. So like Cinema 123 was here in Visalia. The Fox, the then owner of the Fox decided, well, I want to be like everyone else. Guts the whole thing, oh, it hurts. Puts false ceilings up, and he divides it up into 3 screening rooms, 1 down here and 2 upstairs. And that lasted until the mid-90s, and then it shut down, and the building was just vacant. And everyone just kind of forgot about the Fox. And it wasn't until it was a rainy day, and somebody was doing construction on one of the buildings across the street, and they saw water coming into the Fox, and they're like, whoa, there's like a huge leak on this roof. They're like, what's going on? And that moment ended up turning into the Viselian Friends of the Visalia Fox Theater got formed. A group of community members came together and said, we want to save this theater. Like, how dare we just let it just sit dormant like this? So they raised the money, and it turned into what it is now.
Awesome.
Everything you see now is either original, was recreated, and a lot of the stuff that was recreated, the genie that's above the theater, above the stage, was redone by photographs only. Because there was no like specs or anything. So a lot of the restoration was done from photographs, which just even goes to show how passionate somebody is about a project. Like, that's hard. And it's not like it was high quality HD 4K photos that were taken. It was like little crazy pictures from the 30s they were going off of, and
not even Polaroids. Not even Polaroids.
I love that those came back. Like, that cracks me up so much. Awesome. And now they don't even call them Polaroids. Like, they have some bougie name for them.
Fuji films.
Fuji. Fuji was still a thing too. I had Fuji disposable cameras. I heard somebody had disposable cameras. Disposable cameras are back now, apparently.
A lot of old vintage things are coming back.
They're not that vintage.
We call them vintage. I'm 20. We call them vintage.
Okay, that hurts my heart.
I'm a Gen Zer. We call them vintage. Yeah.
I'm a millennial. I think I'm still under millennial rules, which I don't even care. Like, I remember not having a cell phone, and then oh my gosh, this is great. But I'll tell the story because it won't matter because I'm a grown up now and I won't get in trouble for it.
There you go.
I got a cell phone my junior year, and then I would call people, I would like excuse myself from class or like act like I was sick, but what I would do is 10 minutes beforehand, get everybody's orders for Chinese food, and then go hide in the bathroom and call the restaurant and place orders for my friends that couldn't go off campus. I was basically, dude, I invented Grubhub. That's, oh my gosh, dibs. I'm coming for that money.
Did you make a little business out of it?
No, I did. I was a good person. I was a nice person. I didn't take money. I did sell. Okay, it's not that bad. It's not like it was weed. I may have at some point worked in one of the offices on campus, and I might have taken a stack of notes off of the nurse's desk and sold them for lunch money.
That's awesome.
I might have done that. I can either confirm or deny that that was a thing.
That's awesome.
You know what? Everyone has a past. I shouldn't be judged for it.
Everybody's got a side hustle. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. As I'm doing it too, I'm thinking, what would I do if my kid got caught doing this? And I'm like, and I remember one time my mom's like, you haven't asked me for lunch money in like 2 weeks. And I was like, I haven't?
What?
Really? You do the high pitch, like, what?
Yeah.
You crazy. You crazy, mama. No, oh gosh. I recently actually told my mom that story. She was cracking up. She's like, she was laughing and she goes, I would have killed you. And I'm like, yeah.
That's
because
awesome.
Latino families don't play. I'll tell you that. But yeah, that was a fun little rabbit trail.
Yeah, when I was a senior, you know, the freshmen and sophomores couldn't get off campus.
Yeah.
They would come up to me and be like, hey, can you get me lunch?
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever your change is, I'm keeping it. And they would always have like only like 5s and 10s.
Dope.
So like, one of them had a 20. So I'm like, whatever your change is, I'm keeping it.
That's smart.
And he's like, all right. So
that's a hustle. That's cool. Yeah. I didn't charge. I was just late. Well, it was literally right across the street. If I had to go further than that, I would have been like, you're buying my lunch and I'm buying yours with your own money. But yeah, that was fun. I loved high school. I had fun. I wasn't like one of the super like popular kids, but I had a good time with the friends that I had, and I remember my senior year, I dropped out of choir to take physics.
Oh, that's an interesting switch.
Well, it was because that year the physics class was going to Six Flags.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is the only reason why I took physics my senior year. And it was literally all seniors. Like, it was the best class ever. That teacher, I think, gave us all Bs just because he felt bad for us because he knew we weren't acing anything. We were not there to learn. And I remember the physics teacher was also my chemistry teacher. And I burned a hole in one of the desks because I was playing around with the acids when I shouldn't have. And I burned a little hole in the desk. And he saw me come in and he just went, no. He's like, you're not in my class. You're just here to hang out. And I go, look at this. And I pulled out my updated schedule. I go, I'm here, Mr. Knight, here to stay. And he was just like, oh, poor guy. He gave it his all. Nobody learned anything.
Shout out to Mr. Knight.
Shout out to class of 2004, Tulare Union.
Tulare Union.
Yes, I'm a TU girl. I went to a good school.
That's awesome.
I'm sure you went to a good school too. I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm your
Hanford
guest.
West.
Where'd you go to high school?
Hanford West.
Okay, so were you like born and raised Hanford?
Lemoore.
Okay.
But we just decided that I wouldn't go to Lemoore High.
Is that like probably a good thing?
Yeah, I mean, we just heard some stuff about Lemoore High.
Oh yeah.
It could be talked about off camera. But
that's not my city, so I ain't getting in trouble for it. No, I'm just
I won't
kidding.
get in trouble for it now. 'Cause, yeah.
Every city has the school that you probably don't want to send your kids to. It's just what it is. But you know what? We love y'all anyway. Everyone can. It cracks me up. Like I had friends that couldn't wait to get out of Tulare and Visalia, and they were just like, I hate this place and it sucks, and I'm going to the big city and doing all this stuff. Half of them came back after Thanksgiving break with debt and regrets. So, and I went to COS. I haven't pursued anything further than my associates, and that was my choice. And I have a really supportive family that's like, hey, we'll help you through school if you want to keep going for your bachelor's. And like, nah, I'm ready to work. Like,
right.
I'm done with school. Like, I want to get my job. I want to get my purpose going here. And I've had friends that, got bachelor's, master's. I have one that's working on a master's and doing their thesis and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, bless you guys. Like, if you have that passion for higher education, that's so awesome. And if you can do that and work full time too and raise a family if you're at that point, awesome. Like, I applaud you so much, but my passion wasn't that at all. And I've been very fortunate that the opportunities I've gotten haven't been hindered because of needing a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
And that's because, though, I busted my butt on the other side of it, and I volunteered a lot, and I built up my experience. And even though I would go to a job and say, just as great as it has been, the yeses I've gotten some no's, and they sucked. Like, I really wanted certain jobs. And it was, those jobs came down to, they just saw this part of your resume that said, your degrees. And it was just that. And I'm like, well, what about everything else? And they're like, nope, this is what we're looking for. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, obviously it wasn't meant to be, because I'm here where I am now, and I love it.
That's awesome.
But, that's always something that I've been talking to schools and talking with teachers, with the academies. Like, there's a lot of academies that are set up now, like arts and media and stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to be honest. If your kids ask me, about higher education, I'm going to say, if you don't want it, don't do it.
Right.
Don't put yourself in that amount of debt. Don't feel that pressure from classmates, or even, I remember I had teachers in high school that just totally snubbed their noses at me because I didn't have the aspirations to go to USC or go to Berkeley or go to here, or go to UCLA or whatever. And they just kind of dismissed me like, okay, well,
exactly.
We're not wasting our time
Same
on
here.
you. Good luck in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it when we were getting ready. I was like, my petty side wants to like forward them my resume and say, hashtag, your girl's been doing just fine.
Yeah.
And then my God-filled side says, girl, shut up. Like, it can be gone like that. Like,
Yeah,
so don't get unhumble by any means. And so, I have a heart for the kids that, feel like they're pressured into, I have to do this right after school. And it's like, go to trade school. Like, if you want to be a welder, welders make bank, by the way. Like, there's no shame in blue collar work in America, people. Like, every job, I think everyone has that desire for a certain profession in their lives, And as romantic as the big ones are, like actress and, whatever else there is, we all have a part in this world at the end of the day. And, what you're meant for, you're either going to follow through and chase it, or you're going to get forced into it at some point, because you're meant for this. And not everybody's meant for certain things. And that comes with maturity and age too. Like, I've had to learn, like, just because I want a job doesn't mean I should get it. or just because I want something or I have a goal doesn't mean I need to get it. Some things we're not meant to get at all.
Yeah.
Some things we're not meant to achieve, and we're not meant to, and that's okay. And it's learning. It's the same thing with no. It's like taking the no's and just saying, okay, there's a reason why. There's a bigger reason why I wasn't meant to do this. And maybe I wasn't going to do it as well as the person that's going to actually complete it. And I've seen that happen with, opportunities or bookings or whatever. And I see somebody else get it. And part of me is like, okay, this sucks. Like, why didn't that work out? And then you see it gets fostered the way it needed to, and you see this person kill it and succeed and do an awesome job, and you're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have done that. Like, I'm grown enough to know where my boundaries are, and you did a way better job than I would have with it. And that's the mentality we all have to have at some point, is just be like, okay, recognize good work when you see it. If it was something you wanted and you see somebody else completing it, have the cognizance to be like, oh, okay, it's working because maybe that person was the one meant to do it, not me. So yeah.
So you mentioned a little bit about your parents.
Yeah.
Your mom was CNA and your dad was what again?
He's a truck driver. My mom is not a CNA anymore, but my dad's still a truck driver, and so he loves it. He loves getting to drive around and do stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, my parents I was born in Pomona, California, down south, and then lived in Whittier, California for a while, and then my parents had Valley ties. So we ended up moving from there because they didn't want to raise me and my brother in LA.
Got it.
And sometimes, like, when I see celebrities that are my age, I'm like, Mom, that could have been me.
Yeah.
That could have been our house on Cribs. And she was just like, she goes, that's the problem. She goes, I didn't want you to turn into Drew Barrymore. She uses Drew Barrymore as an example because when like, this sounds so stupid, but like, I was in like baby pageants and crap. Like, it was so stupid. I regret bringing it up as soon as they said it right now. Oh, Lord. Take me now, Jesus. Anyway, so and I think this is where I get my parents' style of parenting, and it's been great because that's how I've been able to be who I am, is my mom said, you were fine with it, she's until one time. She goes, you threw a fit, you were crying, you were unhappy, and I asked you and said, do you want to keep doing this? And I said, no. And she goes, okay, we're going to finish this competition, and then you won't have to do it ever again. And that has been, I think about that, during times when my parents have always been like, you don't want to do it? Don't do it.
Yep.
If you're not going to be happy, don't. Now, granted, that didn't work all the time because I didn't want to go to school sometimes, and they were like, "You're going to school." Like it wasn't so lenient and so extreme to where I got away with crap. I got in trouble for things. But I would say it's not making me happy, so I didn't want to do my homework. And she's like, "Okay, there's a line with this. Like you were officially crossed the boundary and it's just being disobedient." But it's wild. Like, I really am so grateful for my family. They have supported me and encouraged me and given me some of the best advice ever. And I've gotten training from really cool people in leadership, and I've been to conferences, and I've, have met people of influence and all this rad stuff. But it's nothing beats what I've gotten from home, and I'm very blessed that I get to say that, and I don't take that lightly because there's people who have not had supportive families and who have been able to be real with their parents about struggling with things or about, career choices and stuff, And I remember my dad saying to me once, he was I don't care what you do, Marina, because I was like, I wanted to be a district attorney. That was what I wanted to be. And I wanted to be a DA so bad because I have a heart of justice. Like, if you do something wrong, you deserve what happens to you. And that's me included. If I screw up, I've earned that consequence because I made that decision. Just like, anyway, I'll rabbit trail on a whole other social justice issue, but I'm not going to. That's not my topic. I have a friend for you, actually, that I should get her on your podcast. She'd kill it. She'd be fun. Awesome. Shout out Lisa Alvarado. Talking to you, sister.
Shout out Lisa. Also, my mom's
dope.
named Lisa, so shout out to the both Lisas.
Double L's. Not like the restaurant, though.
What's Double L?
There's a Double L on Main Street.
Really?
There's a restaurant called Double L.
Oh, wow.
We should have went there because I'm hungry. Anyway, but my leadership skills come from several places of influence. One of them is, once again, my faith, and the other is my parents. And, you know, my dad's like the first one that'll say, like, if you are struggling carrying something, he grabs it. You know, he doesn't even ask. Like, he sees a need and he has that intuition to jump up and fill it. And my mom's the same way. My mom's very kind and compassionate and just a phenomenal woman of faith, and she's the type where she sees needs before they're spoken. Like, she can point out if somebody's struggling with something, and she'll just quietly go do her thing and like go get something and like just go help them out, you know. And she's like, she just has that crazy gift of discernment. And I'm like, and in the back of my head I'm like, girl, those are my Pop-Tarts, where are you going? Like, where did all of the fudge Pop-Tarts go? And she's like, Marina, like, you didn't notice, like, the neighbors haven't gotten groceries in probably like a week, you know, or just little things like that. Or she's like, I saw someone walking down the road and they needed a meal, you know. And she's the best. Like, awesome. I wish I
Heart
can.
Of gold.
It's the best. And my poor dad, like, he's great too. Like, my dad's super dope. My dad's a worker bee to the core, and so is my mom. But they're great people. But my mom's the behind the scenes person. Like, she's the one that, like, she doesn't want to be seen. She doesn't want to be recognized. My dad's the ham, where a lot of this comes from. And my dad's the one that loves the spotlight and being goofy and silly and making everyone laugh. And my mom has the subtle, like, sarcastic humor that once you get to know her, you're like, she's funnier than him. So, poor dad. And
shout out to dad.
Shout out to Pops. And that's where I've gleaned a lot of my leadership style is from her, is to be like, I don't care about being seen. It's fun to do this kind of stuff, and it's fun to, you know, tonight I'll MC or movie night, you know, and I'll do that and jump on stage. But if I was told, like, that's not your job, you don't do that, I'm like, cool, then let's find someone who will kill it and do it, you know what I mean? So I take that from her a lot, and just, it's okay not to be recognized. It sucks sometimes, especially when it's something you've worked really hard on. But, you know, my reward is seeing other people enjoy what I do. And that's my mom. My mom loves hosting and loves to see other people, like, eating and comfortable and, you know, getting more food or laughing. And she's like, and I find myself doing that at events, to where I'll sit in the back of the room and just look around, and I see people singing along or dancing or laughing or taking selfies. And, you know, I find so much satisfaction in people being satisfied by the end product. So that's kind of my family. And I have a younger brother. His name's Eddie. He's the dopest kid ever. He's 4 years younger than me. And Eddie is like my best friend. Like, he's my little brother, but he's the best travel partner, concert friend. Like, we go to theme parks. Like, it's so much fun. And he's super creative too. He wrote a book. He wrote his own book.
Wow.
He self-published on Amazon, and then he does graphic design and stuff like that. So I'm okay with graphic design. I make some cute things, but hold on one sec. Don't stop. We're recording something. Sorry, David. We're getting ready for our Thursday night movie. So we're showing The Big Lebowski tonight. So people are probably going to start hustling and bustling in a little bit.
It's all right. We're going to wrap things up.
Okay, because I've been talking too much. That's what Dustin, that's code word for that.
That's all right. It's all right.
It's been fun, but my family, a big part of my life, and they've been along for my ride the whole time, and I just love them. So it's fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
That's all right. You know, we have this great, shout out to Abraham. We got a great editor. He can
Dope.
make him look invisible.
There you go.
So we'll wrap it up right now.
Okay, cool.
I wanted just 2 questions.
Okay.
What is your favorite failure?
My favorite failure? We don't have that much time left. My favorite failure, man. I'm trying to think. I think it kind of just still falls in line with how I handle rejection. Like, there was a job I really wanted, and I thought I was a shoo-in for, and it was, I'm not going to say where it was, but it was pretty great. And I didn't get it, and I was like devastated. And I was like, bawling my eyes out, like on my mom's lap, like just like, this is the worst day of my life. I can't believe I didn't get this job. I'm stuck and I don't know what's happening to me. And I was like, there's a reason why you didn't get this. And I'm like, but I matched all the criteria. And then I did the horrible part where I start dissing the person that got the job and was just like, they're not even that good. Like, look at the work they've been doing. Like, I would have done this. And she's like, you need to chill out. And like, there's a reason why this didn't work. And this is why, because if I would have gotten that job, I wouldn't have gotten Spirit and I wouldn't have gotten the Fox. So I would say, I guess I can call that one of my many great failures. I've had more than one, but that one just popped in my head. Yeah.
And now to wrap it all up, I started asking this question ever since I did. Do you know Jared
Which
Johnson?
one?
Jared Johnson?
Sounds so familiar.
He's from Visalia.
Does he do the dance parties?
Yes.
Okay, because I've been seeing him outside in the Fox, and I'm not saying anything because I think it's cool. So that's dope, but I haven't met him yet. I need to.
He's a good friend of mine.
Seems dope.
I should introduce you guys.
Yeah.
How do you want to be remembered as?
I just went to a funeral recently, and when you go to funerals, you think about that kind of stuff, and you think like, when they put my pictures up, you know, by then it's going to be holograms, because I hope I live that long. It's not a PowerPoint slideshow, but man, I just want to be remembered in a good way, obviously, like who doesn't, but probably as somebody who was compassionate and kind and that made an impact. And not for the sake, because you can tell the difference between people that want to make impacts because for the ego, but I want to make an impact because it lifted other people up. Like, I want to be a ladder for somebody to climb up on in a very positive context, not like in a mean girl kind of like, hey, I'm using you to get here. But I want to help amplify the voices of others. That's pretty much what I would like to be remembered for, was helping others' voices be heard. Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is our time to, well, I'll let you have the floor now.
Okay.
You can say anything you want.
Let's get it started. My problem today is, no, I'm kidding. I can just like pitch stuff or whatever.
You could shout yourself out on Instagram.
Hey, yeah, follow me. First, follow the Fox on Instagram. Go to @VisaliaFox. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So follow us on all 3 social media platforms. We do tons of giveaways. We have tons of fun stuff. Another cool thing that we do, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm okay. Like, I post funny things, like, and dumb, overly filtered selfies at times. You can follow me at The Only Latina Ninja. That is my Instagram handle, The Only Latina Ninja. I will never give that handle up, ever. Awesome. And I don't have it on Twitter because there's another The Only Latina Ninja, but she's an MMA fighter, and I'm not going to bat for that.
Maybe
like, she can have it.
Maybe she's trying to get the
Maybe
Instagram
she's trying.
away.
I'll switch. That's mine. No, that's mine. Verification to come. Have you ever tried to get verified on Instagram? I regret doing it because it felt like I was getting a little too big for my britches, and that's my other greatest failure, is not getting an Instagram verification badge. I do not do that. They you have to submit a driver's license or a bill or something. So I sent my driver's license and they said it wasn't good enough, and I'm like, jerks. Like, obviously I lied about my weight. Like, it's just. But my eye color was true. They're green. But so there's my shout out. Like, you can follow me on Instagram and then follow us on the Fox Theater site too. So don't stop. We're recording.
It's all good.
That's what happens when you work at a venue, people. Things happen.
Yeah, things happen.
It's busy. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, Dustin.
No
You guys are
problem.
killing it. I'm loving the direction you guys are going in, and I appreciate you having me on. So
I
thanks.
appreciate you taking the time.
Good times.
All right, we'll see you guys next time on the Community Proud Podcast. And we're back. That was episode 17. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like us on Facebook. We haven't mentioned Facebook in a little bit, so like us on Facebook at Community Proud Podcast, and follow us on Instagram as well at Community Proud Podcast. You can follow me at DALLEN2199, and you can follow Abe at
_Abe.Jacobs.
And once again, please, stay tuned for the giveaway. It's going to be a big deal for us, as well as Brush of Wonders and Laura Farrar. And oh, by the way, please follow Marina on Instagram as well at the only Latina Ninja. Anything else?
No.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you on episode 18.